Ladies and gentlemen, Anna Honey Badger Summers. Fighting out of the blue corner, Anna Honey Badger Summers.
Anna, the Honey Badger Summers. Where did that name come from?
So, oh man, I actually can't remember exactly how this happened, but Pierre actually gave me that nickname.
That's what I heard.
I'm just like I'm a small little vicious animal. Mostly in the gym, to be honest. Everyone's bigger than me, so it kind of just fit. It's a small little creature, but it's tough and resilient and will take on anyone. So, I mean, that's kind of accurate to my not my personality, but my fighting style.
When I think of a honey badger, they don't give up. They never quit, and they keep going after their prey, no matter how big it is. And that's exactly like what you're telling me right now. So
Yeah.
that's kind of interesting. That's pretty cool. And so I heard the nickname came from Pierre, which sounds like Pierre gave a few nicknames in this gym.
Yes, he did.
But is Pierre one of your coaches, or?
I definitely look up to him. He's not technically a coach, but I will take coaching advice from him.
I see. So your main coach is your husband, Danny.
Yes, Danny, and then I also have a striking instructor. His name is Paul Reinhardt.
Cool.
And I see him at a different gym. He actually used to work with us when we were Victory, and then he came and helped us a little bit as Intercept, but life changes. He moved out to Indiana, so I see him in a different area.
Cool. And how does it feel having your husband be your coach?
It could be a lot of pressure.
Pressure?
Yeah, I feel a lot of pressure to perform at my best when I'm with him.
Nice.
But when I am at my worst, I can always trust that he'll bring
pick
me
you
up a notch. you
Wow,
know?
that's amazing.
Yeah.
And do you ever feel like he motivates you better? Do you feel like you need to seek source or motivation from somebody else sometimes, or?
So we kind of had conversations about this. You feel a certain comfortability with certain people, and for me, when it comes to working on my technique, I really feel comfortable with my striking coach. But when it comes to more of application, I feel more comfortable with him. So
Interesting.
it definitely differs. My striking coach is not much of a grappler, but he does know how to combine the striking into the wrestling, grappling, clinch area, that type of thing. He's very knowledgeable of MMA, but his main focus is my technicality. So it's just a comfortability thing in different aspects of the sport. And I mean, it's crazy. It all seems like, oh, striking is striking, but it's really not. There's a lot more to it than that.
Yeah. And do you ever bring that training home with you? Are you always constantly thinking about it?
Yeah, so we actually have a group chat where Danny and Paul, they can be on the same page, and that where I can kind of leave my comments, or we write down things that we covered, what I do well, what I shouldn't do, making sure that we're not contradicting each other in camp, because I'm seeing two different people that aren't not conversating with each other about it.
Yeah.
So that's something that makes me feel really comfortable, and they work super well together. I mean, they've taught together for years, and
Nice.
I trust Paul with my life, so
That's perfect.
yeah, so it's nice about that. And then I can also leave my feelings and emotions in that chat, and then I can count on them to kind of just help me with where I need to work.
Yeah, so they could bring you up in all aspects.
Basically, yeah.
Now, did you ever feel like you needed to be brought up during COVID? Did it ever bring you down? What's training like during COVID?
I actually really enjoyed it. It was literally private sessions constantly.
Wow.
We had a lot of fighters come to our house. Not a lot, but our core group. We had very often, sometimes 4 times a week.
Because you have your own gym at your place, basically.
Yeah, so we have a 2.5 car garage that we turned into all wrestling mats. We have some workout equipment and some bags, water bags, all sorts of stuff. That we can just take down, and then we use the whole mat space for everyone to train on. So that was really cool. So it was very specific one-on-one training, and we all got to work on the things that we needed to work on. So for me, all of COVID, I worked on my boxing. That's something
Really?
that I lack in and I needed to work on. So Danny worked on boxing with me.
Nice.
And I've been working privately with Paul for the last couple months on my boxing.
Nice.
Even though it's not something I necessarily plan on using in all of my fights, it's something that I can use if I need to. So that's something I really worked on, and I feel like a lot of us did that. We all grew during COVID,
Yeah.
probably more than anything.
Wow. So which a lot of people would say COVID hindered them. You adapted and you overcame it, and in fact, it was a better way for you to train.
It was a way to step back and reevaluate who we were, not only as fighters, but mentally. I think it made all of us hungry. I think like every fight that goes on, people's first fights back after this whole pandemic and everything, it's just going to be savagery. Like there's either going to be, it could go two ways. There's going to either be people who are really going crazy in the first round and get really tired because their conditioning is just not there because they just ate like crap and they're fighting up weight classes because they haven't been dieting.
Yeah.
Or there's going to be people who took it serious the whole time and people are just going to be like murdering each other. Yeah.
I could see that happening. And does that ever like actually come into your mind when you think about your opponent? Because your fight's coming up on November 6th for HRMMA. Do you ever think about like your opponent, what your opponent's training on, or?
Not necessarily. I've actually tried to fight Shelby in the past. The main reason I wanted to fight her is because she's a southpaw, and I haven't had the opportunity to fight someone, and she's like natural size for my weight class. I know
Cool.
She's fought up at a lot of different weights.
Yeah.
And she has like a taekwondo background because I remember one time we tried to get her a fight, but she had a taekwondo tournament that weekend.
Oh dang.
So it just never really worked out, and for this fight we had a couple girls not take the fight, or there was another girl, she was just way bigger than me, and I just didn't feel comfortable being as small as I am to just do that, especially because when size matters, but only when skill is matched, and I felt like she had enough skill and enough what do you call it? My brain's going
Like.
Experience. That's
Okay,
my
there we
word.
go.
Sorry.
That's what I was looking for.
She had enough skill and experience where that size could come into play, and so yes, amateurs the time, but I also don't want to get hurt. I want to continue to fight. I want to fight girls in my weight class.
Right.
And I think Shelby is technically a natural 105er. She just hasn't had the chance to fight somebody at that weight class.
Yeah.
Just due to having hard to get matchups for females.
I see. So you said that you're fighting a southpaw. Usually, from my knowledge of fighting, that's something that you don't usually want to do. Why is this something that you want to do?
I love it, to be honest. Yeah. So specifically for my style, getting a southpaw is like money because no, seriously. I don't want to give away too much, but I mean, for those of you who know, I'm a heavy clincher and I'm a heavy kicker. And I feel like when you're in mismatched lead, that really opens up my power side. Yes, I am in her power side, but we work a lot on like lead foot dominance and stuff like that I feel like I'm very good at without having to think about it. The other thing is that one of my main training partners, she trained southpaw with me like a lot, even before I even found out about this matchup. So I knew a lot of what worked for me a long time ago against a southpaw.
Nice.
So now I just got to put it into action. And who knows, she could come out left lead, but who cares? I train with left leaders all the time. You know what I mean? So I'm excited to see what happens, see what works. See what lands really well, what doesn't land. Just try this out before I go pro.
Right. That's really cool that you choose to tackle that. And usually when I see somebody tackle something as how you are saying that you're tackling it, there's got to be some like big inspiration behind that. So what is your inspiration that's driving you to pursue a fight like this?
I don't know. I just want to get better. There's two types of other fighters. So there's three I need to do. So I fought a wrestler. I fought someone who came from a kickboxing gym. I fought a grappler who decided to stand with me the whole fight.
Oh.
I fought a boxer. And I know the one where I fought a boxer wasn't at my best. I was really sick. So I want to fight a boxer again because that's where I lack.
Yeah.
And then I want to fight someone who could potentially have better jiu-jitsu than me.
Oh,
like,
interesting.
my ground game is really good and I want to be tested.
Yeah.
So those are two things I want to do.
So your inspiration is essentially getting better.
Yeah, it's to test myself against the people who are the best in a specific area. So that's kind of my inspiration.
I see. And what like got you into fighting? What was your first?
Oh, who the heck knows? I don't even know. I was just I loved MMA. I got in the gym, I started training, and I was like, I guess I need to fight. I'm so competitive, I just needed to do it.
Wow.
And, yeah.
So your competitiveness fit in with MMA, and then that's what made you pursue the actual fighting.
Yeah, and after my first fight, so I was so nervous. It was horrible.
Yeah.
I was like shaking like a leaf. I remember like I was shaking so much that I was freezing.
Really?
Yeah, it was weird.
Freezing.
My first fight was against a girl who was ranked number 5 in the world for wrestling. So like all the emotions were there. I was like, oh my god, this girl is just gonna take me down, which she did because I just stood there and I was like, hey, take me down, you know. And I was like a deer in headlights. But afterwards, even though I lost, I was like, oh my god, I love this.
Wow.
I'm like, I want to do this again right now.
Wow,
So
that's
it's
crazy.
like a drug. That adrenaline is just like you keep searching for it. You want it again and again and again.
Yeah. Do you ever feel that nervousness creeping back up on you after your few fights that you already done?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I think that if you're not nervous or at least a little anxious, I feel like you're not on your A game.
I see.
If you're so calm to the point where you're so relaxed, I feel like that's when people make mistakes. I had the chance to talk to TJ Dillashaw.
What?
Yeah, I did a seminar with him, Anthony Pettis, and Shorty Torres, and afterwards, someone asked him the question about like, do you get nerves or whatever? It seems like, from what I'm hearing from these guys, is that the higher level you go, obviously the skill level gets better.
Right.
The more nervous you get. So the most nervous I've ever been was for my fight with Kara Wisłowski. She had 11 fights. She was a Golden Gloves boxer. That's the one you fought, or you watched.
Yeah.
And I feel like fighting someone that makes me nervous honestly brings out the best in me.
That's good. That's good.
I feel when I'm too comfortable, I'm just kind of like a little lazy.
Right. And I noticed the best come out in that fight because you went right in. You saw an opening almost immediately, kicked her in the head, and finished it off within 26 seconds. So, so your nerves were getting you up to that point. How did it feel once you let's say you landed that kick or leading up to that kick? How was your mind? Where was it at?
I felt really good walking out. I think probably the best I ever felt for a fight was that fight. But leading up to that fight, I was a wreck. Almost every night I laid in bed, I'm like, Danny, do you think I can do this? Do you think like I was really mentally weak the whole 2 weeks before that fight, if I'm being completely honest. And then fight day came, and I don't know, something just clicked. I had like tunnel vision for that fight.
Wow.
And people could say that kick was luck because it was so fast or whatever, but I swear to God, we trained that jab head kick all camp because we knew she would drop her right hand. I saw it bobbing up and down. I was like, oh, there it is.
You did your research.
Yeah.
You pursued it, and you followed through, and that was a wrap. And which it was an amazing fight, especially for like an amateur level. Like you totally
It was a highlight reel.
analyzed. Yeah, exactly. You analyzed your opponent and you followed through, which was amazing. So let's talk about your emotions on when you weigh in the day before, and then like leading up to the fight. Like, what are your emotions like, or in fact, what do you do? What's your procedure?
So I kind of turn my brain off the last 2 weeks. Otherwise, I do get emotional because I'm hungry. So I try to like nip that in the bud. Danny's probably like, yeah, okay. So I really try to like kind of keep to myself. Try not to post on social media too much unless it's something because I can fall into the trap of that like spiraling thoughts of like, did I do enough? You start to get, your body breaks down the last 2 weeks in your training sessions because you're so hungry and you're so tired and just like, so it's like one of those things where you just kind of keep yourself in check. Like, okay, you're only like this because you're depleted.
Right.
It's a short time. Suck it up. And whatever, I think it's 13 days today or 12 days from now, you get to weigh in, you get to eat, and you're gonna feel like a freaking champ. Like that. Like the first couple sips of water and everything, you're still kind of a little shaky and like icky, and then you eat a meal and then like, and then you eat too much and you're like, okay, I need to slow down. Then you slow down, and then the next morning you wake up and you're like, this is it. I'm ready. This is
Wow. So maybe that mental preparation of going through not eating that much or eating super precise, not drinking water, will lead you to a mindset to where you feel like a champion.
Exactly. It's just like anything. Like when something really bad happens in your life, one little good thing feels like this huge win, right? It's the same concept. It's the same concept. True.
That's amazing. And what's your take on like eating or cutting weight in the fighting industry? Do you feel like it's aggressive, or do you feel like it's getting reins on it, or?
I wish we could all fight at our natural weight class, but there will always be one person that wants to one-up their opponent, so that will never happen.
True.
So I think it's one championship they do kind of like where they weigh them throughout their camp, so that like either you're going to be depleted your whole camp and then you're just going to be kind of big on fight day, or they actually fight at their natural weight class. So that's kind of a good way, but there's no way an amateur or even most of the pro organizations that have amateurs on them could ever afford to even do something like that.
Yeah, it seems like these are set in stone. These are like good regulations, and they help actually keep things fair and balanced. Now, you are a fighter. Danny, your coach, and your husband is a fighter. Do you guys think that your daughter Reagan might end up becoming a fighter one day, or?
I don't know. I actually have no idea. She's in this age where she likes a ton of things. She likes everything. She takes the classes. She's good. She picks up quickly. But I don't know. She does. She likes to be a little cheerleader about it. So I know she's interested, but I don't know if I can make that now. And I would totally support her if she did.
Really?
Oh yeah, 100%.
And is she like your source of inspiration too? Like whenever you go into the cage, or?
So okay, I might get a little backlash for this, but so one thing for me, and I've said it in the past where I felt like she was, so there's a lot of moms out there, right, that fight. Not a lot, but there's quite a few, like Michelle Watterson, blah, blah, blah. And they put all this pressure on themselves. They're like, I'm doing this for my kid. I have to take that out of the equation. I already own a gym. I have that pressure behind me. My husband's my coach. I have that pressure behind me. I don't need to add my kid into the equation. She is a separate part of my life. I love that she's part of the gym, but this is something selfish I do for me. This is something I want to do. I want to pursue. I would love to have her on the ride with me, but I cannot put that pressure on myself because I love her so much. If I feel that I let her down, it could destroy my career. I truly believe that.
That could be a little emotional, overwhelming.
I don't like to be an emotional fighter, and that would make me emotional.
Wow, that's such a great perspective to look at it. I have no idea why you'd get like any backlash for that, but in fact, separating.
You never know.
You never know. You never know. But that's what works for you, you know. And also, it's also saying that it creates a better life for your daughter too. You know what I'm saying? Because you're not like cultivating this atmosphere, you know, to where she's enveloped in your emotions and you're enveloped in her emotions and stuff. And
there needs to be a barrier.
It sounds really great. That's fantastic, actually. Now, when it comes to your fighting style, what would you say your fighting style is mostly?
Oh God, I'm kind of a counter fighter. I feel like as I grow in this sport, I'm still figuring out more about myself. So, like I said earlier, I love kicking, but truth be told, I love the clinch. I hate wrestling. I hate it. I don't know if you've seen any of my fights where I want to get to the ground and I try to wrestle. I'm like, oh, I gotta wrestle. I hate it. I hate it. I will do it. Now, if it's against the cage, I have no problem with it. I love it. I love it. But like having to just like shoot in the middle of a cage is like, oh, it's horrible.
Why do you hate it? Why do you hate wrestling?
Because I truly feel like once you go pro, unless you're a dominant wrestler with good striking, it's useless. Because knees are in play, elbows are in play. You see it all the time. Guys hang on the cage, you get knocked out with elbows.
Yeah.
Guys step in from too far away on a takedown. If you don't time that shit perfectly, like you're getting cracked upside your head with a knee or a kick. A kick that turned into a knee. Like or an uppercut or anything. Like I seriously, I like to go for my takedowns and trips from the clinch position. I'm tight. I'm less likely to get hit. Yeah. I'm all about hitting and not getting hit. Okay?
Yeah, right. Yeah.
But as a fighter, like I don't mind it. It's just, but like my style is not to like push forward and eat a bunch of shots to give one. That's just not who I am.
Yeah.
I like to use footwork. Like to use head movement. So some things I work on is just like tightening that stuff up, you know, and then I really like clinch, and obviously, like I said before, I'm a dominant grappler. Whether I'm on top or I'm on bottom, I'm submission heavy, and I'm slowly learning how to be heavy on top and not just like float and go for stuff. So I've really improved my ground and pound, so I'm hoping to show that off in this fight.
Nice.
So we'll see.
It seems like you got a good grasp on your weaknesses and your strengths, and you're honing in on that. Was there any time leading up to this fight on November 6th by HRMMA, was there any time where you went to a fight camp and like helped hone your skills more, or what did that look like?
So I did go to it was like a tryout. So it was this organization called XFC. And they used to be around years ago. I think someone new bought them or whatever. Danny actually tried out for them in South Carolina.
Wow.
So they held a tryout. I got paired up with one of the girls from Michigan and SFS. She's actually already a pro atomweight.
Wow.
Yeah, and it was actually really fun. We have mad respect for each other. She's actually one of my friends and someone who got me hooked up with one of my sponsors.
Nice.
But like I got to see where I'm at on like versus like a professional level.
Wow.
And without any repercussions of getting hurt or just kind of getting my name out there, people seeing who I am. I feel like I showed a lot on the ground. Striking wise, I wasn't really happy with it, but that's something that I'm still working on, and I will probably forever be working on.
Where did you feel like your position was in reference to a pro? Did you feel like you were getting close, far away? You got things to work on?
Close, but things to work on.
Yeah?
Yeah, the combo.
Interesting.
I think on the ground I could definitely be professional.
Yeah.
I think in the stand-up, I just need to hone in on how to bridge gaps. That's for me, it's gap bridging, so like distance management, that type of thing. And then timing and distance management.
So let's wrap up this interview. Would you like to give a shout out to anybody who supported you or any sponsors?
Absolutely. So I have quite a few. So first off, I want to say thank you to you, obviously, for giving us this interview. Claire, she does a lot of like our media stuff, not only for the gym, but for me and photography. And then my friend Aaliyah, who has in the past done tons of photography for me. And also she created my logo.
Wow.
So that's going to be...
It's slick too.
Yeah, I know,
it's
right?
A nice logo.
She does it for pretty much anyone, so if you want to hit her up, I will drop some links below here. And then obviously my coaches, Danny, he's my main head coach, MMA, grappling. Paul, as I mentioned before, my Muay Thai, kickboxing, and boxing coach. And then the biggest thing is my team. So my teammates who helped me prepare for this, I had quite a few people like get out of their comfort zone, you know, train right, lead for me, which I was so grateful for because all of my main training partners, Alyssa and Oscar, are in camp right now, and I can't expect them to just change their style just for me. And then, of course, everyone from Intercept and from like outside of Intercept, but who know us, who have donated to help us get to Kentucky. That was a really big deal.
Wow.
It's hard to dig into gym funds, especially now through COVID and everything, to get there. So they provided us a way and a place to stay where we can all be together in a safe place, not in some dirty hotel. You know? Right. Thank you to HRMMA for hosting us and having us come out there. It's hard to find, you know, promotions that will, you know, get people out of state. So that was really nice of them. And then we also have a core group of people from Intercept who are traveling out to Kentucky to support us, which I think is super freaking cool.
Wow.
That's a long drive,
Yeah.
and that's just a testament to the type of team we have
Yeah.
here. Not just, and I mean, they're not even on the fight team.
Wow.
They're classmates of ours who invest in us and love us, and I think that that's something that's very special, and you don't see that in a lot of gyms.
That's one thing I noticed here. The culture is incredible.
Oh,
in
yeah.
Intercept MMA. It blows my mind.
I mean, usually people just go to like local shows, like at other gyms, and then someone's out of state, it's like crickets. Yeah, so we've got a pretty decent crew here. So then here's my main sponsors. So one person who takes care of me, awesome, is Dr. Rory Morello. He is out of Platinum Chiropractic. If I don't show up, he calls me. If I don't have anything set up, he calls me. He gets me acupuncture. I get massages weekly. He just makes sure that my body is like tip-top shape.
Wow.
And then, so here's a big one. Stacia and Summer out of Grapple Betty, they created an entire clothing line for me. They also sell women's training gear, but they also set up a page specifically sponsored to me. I mean, I get a cut of things. Like they're not looking to, you know, for anything out of me, just wanted to support me, and that was something that was really special that I found in them.
Really?
Another person, I was talking about that girl, Tabitha, she was a pro.
Yeah.
She met a guy, his name's CJ. He started a company called Leg Lock Apparel, and she got me hooked up with him, and they also make Badger leg lock shirts, which is also something else I've been working on.
Oh my gosh.
Leg lock has been a huge part of my game recently, so it was kind of cool. As Claire goes, so it was a huge part of my game, so it was really cool and perfect timing on that. And then last but not least is a fighter friend of mine who also has his own clothing brand. His name is Matt Quigley. He has Trials and Tribulations.
Cool.
Super awesome, quality, athletic, like cute athletic. And if you like crop tops, which you know is my thing, you got to hit up that website, especially you, Jesse.
Yeah, get that crop going.
Yeah, but no, they have some really cool like new like windbreaker stuff and just very very stylish. So and then the other thing is it's quality. It's not like you're buying from some brand where like you wash it one time and like falls apart and like the logos start peeling off. It's the worst, right? So he invests in good quality clothes. So I just wanted to hit up all those people. Thank you so much. And that's about it.
All right. Well, Anna, we're excited for the fight on November 6th. I can't wait to see it. And I hope you have a wonderful day. Thank you so much for sitting on this interview with me.
Thanks.
Okay, see you around.